The gentlelady from Michigan, Ms. McClain.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. I want to thank you for being here today. I just have a few questions. First, would you agree that obviously the health and safety of our citizens remains the utmost priority?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I've listened to the testimony. You stand behind the FY22 budget request of 131 billion for HHS, even though it's a 23% increase, correct?
That budget we have put forward, having gone through all the elements of it, and hope that you'll support it.
Okay. And do you commit to ensuring, it seems like you've said this, but to ensuring a transparent and responsible use of taxpayer dollars?
Of course.
Thank you. So I'm glad that you agree with me on the basics, and I believe that there is a crisis. You testified that you agreed with me. There's a crisis. I'm curious to know a pandemic crisis. Do you feel that we're coming out of the COVID pandemic crisis?
The president, his efforts to get so many millions of Americans vaccinated, his ambitious goal to get 70% of adults with at least one shot in arm by July 4th, all of those efforts, his investments in the American Rescue Plan and the support of Congress to pass it, all of those efforts have led us to the point where, well, you're now beginning to see some states open up. And so we're not out of the woods, but we are certainly in a far better place than we were a year ago.
Do you believe we have a crisis at the border?
We are certainly facing the challenges that come from having a broken immigration system. And I have to deal with those in one aspect when it comes to those unaccompanied migrant children. But without a doubt, for decades, having a system, an immigration system that's broken, creates these kinds of challenges.
So that's a yes, we do have a crisis at the border. I'm confused with the answer, sorry.
Well, we have a broken immigration system that is creating all of these challenges that we must face. It's not just this administration, previous administrations. I remember when I was a member of Congress.
Agreed. As we sit here today, I think we have a crisis at the border. We have a broken immigration system as well. So I'm just, are we in agreement, or do you think we don't have an issue at the border?
Well, I'm glad you agree that we have a broken immigration system. It definitely creates these challenges that while we're taking them on, it makes it tough. And I hope that you all will take on the president's proposal for immigration reform.
I don't know why it's a struggle to answer the question about a crisis at the border, but I'll take it as a non-answer, I guess. Where my confusion comes in is you've diverted $2 billion of funding to deal with the crisis, non-crisis. I don't pick whatever word you want. You know, 850 million from the stockpile money, as well as 850 million of COVID testing money. So can you see my confusion is, if we don't have a crisis at the border, why are you diverting funds from COVID and from our stockpile that would help us deal with the COVID crisis we have now or a future pandemic? So I'm very confused. If we have a non-border crisis, why we're diverting $2 million.
Congresswoman, thank you for the question. And I've tried to explain this in the past. We have an obligation under the law to provide care for these unaccompanied minor children, regardless of what their ultimate outcome will be if they have to return back to the home country or not. While they're here temporarily, it's our obligation to make sure they are safe and healthy.
And that obligation comes at a cost, because for every action, there's a cost, right?
Well, there's certainly a financial cost to it, no doubt. But we're going to do it right, because no child should be, we should not cut corners simply because the child may not be someone we know or have had in this country for a long time.
But it's coming at a cost to our non-crisis at the border. So if we don't have a crisis at the border, why would we need to divert $2 billion to take care of that non-crisis?
So, Congresswoman, we're handling the challenge that the unaccompanied children present. At the same time, we're making sure we're making use of those dollars to pay for those services in the ways that you all have in Congress provided to us. So all the monies that we use lawfully and transparently. That's why you're able to cite certain figures.
Okay, so we are going to continue. Do you see more money being diverted to this issue in the future?
Congresswoman, until you all fix this broken immigration system, we're going to continue to face challenges like this. And I have, under law, the obligation to make sure I care for these kids. Until you all deal with the crisis, the critical aspects of immigration, the way they should be dealt with, this broken immigration system is going to continue to create these challenges.
And we can start by limiting the number that come in. But with that, I'm out of time. Thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate it, and I yield back.
Thank you.
Thank you.